let's get into a little prospect scouting here to wrap this up here today.
Yeah, a little bit of wide receivers here today, and I think we can do more. We'll do more of a deep dive into these wide receivers next week and kind of see where we're gonna go. I think the receivers is a fun one to talk about.
Yeah,
I think we can spend a couple hours.
Yeah, we'll definitely hit them again after the combine. Obviously, this is early scouting for us here, but let's start with number 10 here. You want to go first? You want me to just go first? How you want to go?
I'll let you go first. See, I was a bad kid this week and only did top 5 scouting for my receivers. I've been kind of doing some more deep dives on the offensive line and stuff like that, and defensive line. So I'll let you start it off with kind of like your bottom 5 in the top 10.
For me, I did 16 initially, so my first 16 here before the combine. Obviously, my 10 initially, and this will kind of be a hot take here, initially was Emeka Egbuka, but obviously with the news him going back today, I'm going to drop him out of my top 10 for this year's drafts. And I'll put Dontez Walker in there. Obviously, had the eligibility issues, has the physical build. He's 6'3", 200 pounds. Didn't play a ton this year. Only caught 41 balls, 699 yards, 7 touchdowns there. I like him. I don't know if he's a day 2 guy, possibly there. Yeah. He's got just decent builds. Obviously, he had the eligibility issues, got hurt, and then one of the games got knocked out. Did have the benefit of playing with Drake May and an offense that doesn't have a whole lot of options there.
Yeah.
But I do like him. I think he's a solid day 2 pick, and I think you're happy if you get a guy like Dontez Walker.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think
I'm lower on him than a lot of people are. Some people are having him a lot higher than I do.
I was just looking here, and PFF actually has him as the 35th ranked player in the draft. So
totally.
Which it sounds about right. I mean, I think he'll be a day 2 pick. He'll be a good day 2 pick. I think he'll be a very, very good day 2 pick.
Yeah, I think he's a pro in the NFL. I don't think he's a superstar in the NFL by any means. I think he is. It's a quality like number 2 is kind of where I have him projected. Number 2, maybe number 3 guy in the league and have a nice career. But I don't think he's CeeDee Lamb or Tyreek Hill or Justin Jefferson type guy.
Yeah. You want to keep going down with your list a little bit here, or I did top 5.
Oh, you're gonna give me 5? Okay.
I can give you 5. I can kind of go down the list. I have a little bit of a list here, like just talking about some guys that I like.
All right, I'll run through mine till we get to 5. So 9 for me, I had Troy Franklin. I
like him.
I do. I see a lot of The Chosen, Robbie Anderson, that kind of style.
Yeah.
Upper echelon, if he hits really, I think he has a little bit of Calvin Ridley potential in him. I see a little bit of that. Obviously, 81 catches this year, 1,300 yards, almost 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns. Had a 37% contested catch rate, which is pretty solid. He's fast. I think he's going to run sub 4.4.
Oregon had a very fast team.
They did. Yeah. They did. He's got great burst. He's great after the catch. He is dynamic with the ball in his hands. He has great vision for a receiver.
The yards after the catch are going to be huge there.
Yeah, and he's awesome on press. I think he's arguably one of the best press coverage guy. He has very, very violent hands, in my opinion. And he runs very detailed in his route. He's very meticulous in his route. I love his route running. He's definitely better against man coverage at this point now. He struggles to kind of sit down in zones and learn that. It's a little bit tougher thing.
He has some size too. I mean, 6'3", listed here 6'3", 187. I mean, he's light, but he's tall. He can go up and get it a little bit.
Yeah, he's tall. He's lanky. He's got a decent arm span on him.
He'll be a great slot receiver.
I do. I think he's going to be a good slot receiver there. His concentration drops a little bit. Did drop 9 balls this year, which I don't love. Not the strongest guy, but he is good against press.
You can teach him. You can teach him to catch. You can get him in the weight room.
Yeah, if he puts 10, 15 pounds on,
speed.
Yeah, he puts 10, 15 pounds on, gets up around 200 pounds. I think he has the potential to be an elite guy.
I mean, if you look at former Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith, I mean, he's still the Slim Reaper. Like he does real well, and he goes up and gets it.
Yeah, you definitely.
He takes the hits. I mean, Troy Franklin's a good comp to Devontae Smith for me. I like that comp.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I think Devontae Smith is a little bit more explosive than Troy Franklin was.
I think Troy Franklin has a little bit more downhill speed, but
I think Devontae Smith's more slot guy for me. I think
Yeah.
Franklin can play
Gotta get
more
open,
outside, and that's why I have more Calvin Ridley-ish. And obviously he's a piss poor blocker. He's not a very good blocker at that size frame. He's just not very into the blocking. And it's a commitment there for me. I think he's a great day 2 pick as well.
Yeah, I can kind of. I know you have a list here, but I have a day 2 pick of mine that I really like. I didn't go and do a top 10 and kind of give you a rundown here. I did a top 5, but a day 2 pick that I would like and I would love to be on my team is Adonai Mitchell from Texas. I like him. Was he your next one on your list? Oh, okay. But I mean,
but
the
he
size,
will make an appearance.
like the Longhorns had a very good year on offense. I mean, he's one of their better receivers. I know they have 2 guys there, but Mitchell played great.
Yeah, I really like
his size. He's a go up and get it type of guy and has some above average speed. Like he's gonna change. He's gonna be a very, very good day 2 pick for somebody. And he might slide into the top.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked
first
to see him
day.
in the first.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very good chance we see 6 receivers taken in the first round, if not more.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a run of receivers in the top 10.
I think the only chance that there's not a run of receivers at the top 10 is the top
quarterbacks trade ups.
No, and it's a blessing and a negative, I guess. Is that the only reason I think there may not go that many high is because it's so deep.
Yeah.
So
because you can get one the next day.
You can get a guy the next day, so you might not.
Like, hey, I know we are picking early tomorrow. Let's maybe get an offensive line. Like if you're somebody like the New York Giants, if you're the New York Giants picking 6, you're gonna sit still. You're gonna sit still and take somebody like a Brock Bowers or Joe Alt and kind of figure out that part of your team first. And then tomorrow, maybe you got somebody like Adonai Mitchell, Troy Franklin available, Xavier Legette. Like you got guys like that are available.
Yeah, I mean, and AD Mitchell, he's higher up on my list here, so I'll get into more of my comps on him when we get there for him.
AD Mitchell falls just out of my top 5, by the way. He's my 6 guy. He would have been my 7 guy. He was my 7 guy, but with Ibuka decided to go back to college today. I have him at 6.
And I think that was the best move for Ibuka.
I agree.
I do see a lot of Debo in him, but he needs to be healthy. He needs to stay healthy. But for me, you said AD Mitchell here. My number 8 is his teammate.
Yeah, Worthy.
Xavier Worthy.
Yep.
And when I was going back through here watching some of his return ability, and my first initial thought, I was like, this guy's Devin Hester.
He looks like Devin Hester. Yeah.
He is so explosive as far as on the return game. I think that's an added layer that you can get. He returns punts, returns kicks. I think he's going to be. He's going to have a long career just at that.
I think he's an early day 2 pick just for doing that.
I would not be. This is another guy I could see potentially slide into the first round as well, but I think he's an absolute steal in the second round. My modern day comp for him, I see a lot of Zay Flowers who came out last year, and him. The guy's going to run probably sub 4.3. If he's not running sub 4.3, he's running low 4.3s at the combine.
Yeah.
He runs great. He's an absolute dynamic playmaker.
Yep.
He's extremely explosive. He's got great balance, too, for being... he's 6'1", 172, so he's on a smaller side, but I think he's a perfect slot receiver in the league. And he tracks the deep ball so well.
Yeah.
He's a great deep ball tracker. He runs really good punt returns. Did take a punt return. I'm sorry, he runs really great routes. He did take a punt return to the house this year, so he's got that ability in him.
He's probably the best returner in the draft, isn't he?
Absolutely. He took one to the house, and there was like 5 or 6 other that he was a shoestring tackle for breaking those, and they were like 40-yard returns as they were on punt returns. He has a very similar issue to Troy Franklin for me. It doesn't read zone coverage well. He's definitely a man beater.
Yeah.
He's got to learn how to sit down in there. Obviously not.
That's going to come with time. I mean, them guys with speed, like you got to think in college. I mean, they're running what they know how to do.
Yeah.
And they're
used to being the best athlete in the field.
And I think the biggest thing with them going forward is going to be the fit. Like where are they going to fit the best? Hopefully they land somewhere where they're going to fit good. Maybe somebody who utilizes them well, like Sean McVay or Matt LaFleur, somebody like that.
Either one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Xavier Worthy. Almost he had 1,000-yard receiving this year, 5 touchdowns, 25% on the contested catches for a guy of his size is pretty solid. PFF had him at a 70.7 overall grade. I love Xavier Worthy. I really do. And then for me, for 7, do you have anybody you want to keep going?
I mean, I have. I really like my top 6. I think combo honorable mention guys. I think this guy here for me, I mean, kind of has Belichick written all over him, but I mean, Belichick's not going to be coaching for the Patriots anymore, so who knows what his deal is. But I really like Lab McConkey out of Georgia. Not a big guy. Not a big guy. I see a lot of like Julian Edelman style play in him, or like a guy that's gonna run the middle of the field, gonna catch a lot of balls.
He's kind
like
of thin.
Danny Amendola kind of style.
He's kind of thin. My issue with him this year wasn't so much the talent; it was the production wasn't there. I had him at like 11, 12 on mine. I did consider him here.
Like I said, I'm not going with rankings here. I'm just going off just guys I like.
I'm with you here. I do like him. He had a 40% contested catch rating there. He only had 29 catches for 461 yards before the playoffs here.
Yep.
Only 2 touchdowns. He did get in the end zone in the bowl game.
Yeah.
So he did play decent there.
I think everybody got in the end zone in the bowl game.
That's true. That game was a rout. I do like Ladd. I don't know if he sneaks into day 2. I think he's probably more a day 3 guy.
Yeah, I like him. I think he'll be a good fit for somebody if they can get him in the right spot.
I think he's an early third round guy for me. But I do like him on there. But for me, number 7 here, I have Brian Thomas Jr. I see a lot of CeeDee Lamb in him.
I have
big
him as my number 5.
That's big shoes for me. Yeah. He's got very long arms. He's 6'4", 205. He's got the prototypical pro build.
I love the CeeDee Lamb comparison.
I see a lot of CeeDee Lamb in there, and LSU is just pumping out superstars.
I mean, I have two LSU receivers in my top 5. Which,
I know you do.
I know you do.
I have one in my top 5 in this one. I mean,
I know.
For me, there wasn't a whole lot of difference between for me from 3 to 8.
There's not a big
jump. There's almost 0 drop off. I think the top 2 guys are the top 2 guys. The third one I can make an argument to be in the top 2 as well. So I guess 4 to 8, 9 for me is really tight. But Brian Thomas, he tacks the ball. He's attacks the ball, and he's got strong hands for a college receiver. He has very good body control. He knows how to control his body around the sidelines.
So important for being that big.
It is, especially in the NFL with how to get 2 feet down. There's a lot of college guys who struggle with that. He tracks the ball well, and he manipulates DBs at an elite level.
Yeah.
Like just subtle little moves at the top of your routes and your in your outs and cuts, and the way you move your head, your hips, and your hands.
Which CD does very well.
Yes, I see a lot of CeeDee Lamb in him, and
CeeDee Lamb's a very good route runner.
He is, and I think Brian Thomas exceeds more in zone coverage than man.
Yeah,
because of that.
And there's a lot of zone in the NFL. There's a lot of zone in the NFL. I mean, you look at the better teams in the league. Guys like Jalen Ramsey, Surtain, Sauce Gardner, they're all playing zone.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys don't match up anymore.
There's not a whole lot of man-to-man defenses a lot anymore, especially with all the movement and the motions and all that kind of stuff. And for me, things he's got to work on, obviously get a little better beat man coverage. Every now and then he's got a habit to catch with his body.
Yeah.
So he's got to clean that up. He's got really strong hands, just use them more often. And he's not the best that gets pressed for somebody of his size, so I do want to see him get a little better at the press coverage there.
Yeah,
but he had a crazy 58.3 contested catch.
Yeah,
like it's crazy.
I think this guy here is probably could be the biggest receiver steal of day 1 or 2, just because I think he's not as highly looked at because he has a teammate that's going to go a little bit higher than him.
Yeah,
I think this guy could have higher upside than his teammate.
I mean, I could see a similar Justin Jefferson path. Same school, same scenario. Obviously, where everybody was on Jamar Chase, and saying he was the best receiver on that team, and don't know if that's. I mean, they're both really good.
Yeah, they're both really good, and that's kind of like a 1A 1B. I mean, I can see his teammate like Malik Neighbors. I can see Malik Neighbors turning into a guy like Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
like because it's very similar skill set. And very similar the way they played in college.
Yeah, those two, honestly, they remind me a lot of that similar.
I think Thomas is the Chase to the
I think they're different styles of receivers than what Jahmyr Chase and Justin Jefferson were, but I think they're both of that caliber where you're going to have 2 LSU guys come into the league and be near the top half of the.
Is LSU wide receiver you?
I think so.
100%. I agree. Where you at, 6?
6.
I already gave you my number 6.
6. I mean, AD Mitchell was who I had at 6 here. I see a lot of D Hop.
Yeah.
D Hop's my comp on him.
Big guy. He's gonna go up and get the hands.
6'4".
The hands.
196 pounds. I'd like to see him put a little bit of weight on there.
Yeah.
You know, maybe coming to the compound on a 205, something like that. I think it'd do well for him. Only had 1 drop this year, so that's impressive. Not the fastest guy.
No. He'll probably run 4.5s.
Yeah, low 4.5. Maybe if he gets into the 4.4s, I think that puts him in the first round.
Yep.
Puts him in the conversation for first round. I think he's an absolute outside receiver. I don't really see him playing the slot.
He's a big go up and get it guy.
Yeah. He's got great hands. You know, he definitely catches the ball well. His release, he has very good steps off the line. So he beats press very well with his feet. He's very fluid. He's very violent with his hands as well. He's a violent runner. He runs pretty much every single route in the thing. He's one of the most polished route runners in there as far as, you know, he runs the full route tree. And I think he's arguably the best blocker as far as a receiver goes in this class for me.
I agree. Which is important. You see a lot of teams like the Niners. You see guys like on the Niners, on the Lions. Those receivers really buy in to blocking. And you kind of have to do that.
Yeah,
I think
it takes
AD
a
Mitchell
commitment
buys
to block.
into that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he does that. For me, his things he's got to work on here. Getting in and out of his cuts, he's a little stiff with that, and I think part of that's too is he does play a little too upright, which I think is why he struggles a little bit with press coverage. He lets guys get into his body a little too much. The long speed too, I think he could struggle with. He's quick, but he's not overly fast. Contested catch rate was 33.3 on him this year. Only 1 year production though, really out of him, so that's a little concerning, but. Still, over 800 yards, double-digit touchdowns this year.
Yep.
I like him, and I said I see a lot of D-Hop in him, and I think if you're getting D-Hop there, you'll take that all day.
That was your 6, you said, right?
6, yep.
Okay. Going in, since we already went over my 6, which was I had AD Mitchell at 6. My 5 was actually your 7. So I had Brian Thomas Jr. at my 5, and we kind of already hit on him, and I think he's going to be a steal. I really do.
I really like Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
He can play.
I think he's a steal, but that's who I have at number 5. So I think my top 4 are pretty predictable. But who do you have here at 5?
My 5 is Xavier Legette, and I think he's my most exciting player coming out of this draft. And I think he is going to light the world on fire when he runs a 40 at the combine. Yeah. I think he is easily sub 4.3. He is a absolute freak of nature.
He's one of the bigger guys too. I mean, he's 6'3", 227.
Yeah,
he has the weight on him too.
He's a very, very physical specimen, kind of DK Metcalf-esque as far as that goes. My comp on him, I have AJ Brown. I see a lot of AJ Brown.
The size.
Yeah, the size. Yep. He's at elite speed, elite size. He has a massive catch radius.
Does he run sub 4.3?
I honestly think he does.
You think?
Yeah. If he doesn't run sub 4.3, it's like 4.31.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is a absolute massive of a human. He's a very violent runner, kind of Isaiah Pacheco. Looks like he's pissed off at the ground.
Yeah. Just hates the dirt.
Yeah, and this is kind of a positive and a negative for him. He's very, very good at contested balls, but he almost plays to that. Like he almost lets guys kind of stay with him to make the contested catch. But I think if he can get coached up to learn that separation, I think he'll be even an elite receiver at the NFL level. He's absolutely dynamite against man coverage.
Yeah.
Did have some drops early in his career, but definitely cleaned it up as he got older. So it shows that development. He does catch not with his hands every now and then. He's got to get a little better on zone coverage, reading zone coverage. But he had 1,200, almost 1,300 yards receiving this year and 7 touchdowns for South Carolina, who's not the best in the SEC. Yeah. So he's used to playing against elite competition in the SEC and eating it up. So I love Xavier Legette, and I think
I like him. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch him in the combine.
Yeah, I am too. I think he's going to put a show on.
And I think fit's going to be. I like to see where his fit is and where he ends up going. I think he gets the right fit. He can be a freaking nightmare for defenses going forward.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to have him on my team every day of the week.
Yep. Going into the top 5, my number 4 is Keon Coleman.
He's mine as well.
Yeah. I love the size. I think he's a plug-and-play kind of guy, can kind of fit in any scheme. He's your outside guy, of course. I think speed, similar to what we were talking about, A.D. Mitchell. I think he's probably somewhere around like a 4.5.
Yeah, I don't think it's the long speed.
No.
That's going to be... He's quick. I mean, he can at least get there. It's going to be serviceable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd expect him at 4.5.
Yeah. I can see... I see a lot of... but he can go up and get the ball. He can definitely go up and get it. He has strong hands, can go up and get the ball. He reminds me a lot of like a faster Cortland Sutton. Like a guy that can just... Like a good player, can go up and get it. Now, Cortland Sutton, I think, is a low end to his kind of... I think he has a higher ceiling than that. Cortland Sutton can get any ball thrown his way.
Yeah.
But the problem is he doesn't create the separation. I think Keon Copeland can create a little bit more separation. But I for some reason, I see a lot of that Cortland Sutton in him. But a little bit slimmer too. Cortland Sutton's a little bit bigger guy.
I mean, Coleman's 6'4".
Yeah,
6'4",
well, I'm
215.
talking about weight,
He's
like
215.
stockiness.
He's not.
I think
Not
Sutton's a little bit bigger,
but
for some reason that's the comp I see. That's a comp I think where Coleman goes. But like I said, a little bit faster, a little bit can create a little bit more. Can get open. I mean, I don't think Sutton ever since his knee injury isn't getting as open as he was. When he was first in the league, coming out of SMU, that's how he was.
Yeah,
and I think coming out of the league or coming out of college in the league, I think they're very similar players. That's my comp there.
Start off my comp on him is a raw T. Higgins. I see a lot of physical talent tools like T. Higgins. I do think he's a little on the raw side. He definitely needs to work on his route running and just the overall technique of being a receiver. I think he can get coached up and be really good. Production was not as good as I was hoping it would be. I mean, only 50 catches for 658 yards this year. Wasn't overly impressive. Did have 11 touchdowns on it, though. But he does have elite size.
Red zone threat.
Yeah, elite size. He's an absolute typical pro build for me. Yeah. He's got good acceleration. Does lack the long speed a little bit. I mean, if he can run 4.45, I think that does a lot for his stock.
Yeah, he's definitely a first round pick if that happens.
Yeah, if he can get under that 4.5 mark, I think that'll do great for him. He's got elite body control. Yeah. He's great in the air. He's got elite ball skills too. He's a guy who goes up and will pluck them from just about anybody. Although only had a 33.3 contested catch ratio, I was a little surprised by.
Yeah.
But what I like about him too, he's very agile after the catch. He's also a multifaceted athlete. He played basketball for Tom Izzo at Michigan State. Didn't play a ton, obviously, but that's a hell of a basketball coach there to learn from as well, just for life lessons and how to be a pro. Because I think Izzo's great at that. But yeah, I have T. Higgins on him, and I
like that comp. I do like that comp.
I think Kansas City would love to have him.
Yeah,
I think that's.
I think that's probably his best fit. I think Kansas City probably tries to go up and get him.
I don't know
because I think if we have a run on receivers early,
I think it depends on what they do in the playoffs.
Yeah,
or if they have a go or not.
Yeah, I think regardless, Kansas City's going big game hunting for a receiver.
I think
Keon Coleman I think Keon Coleman's an all pro in Kansas City's offense.
I would agree
because that's the place where he can go and learn. He has the Hall of Fame quarterback there to learn from. A guy that's gonna put him in the best position to succeed.
A Hall of Fame coach. Yeah.
Like a guy like Keon Coleman's not gonna benefit going somewhere with Tennessee, like with Will Levis or somebody like that. He's gonna benefit with somebody that's experienced. I think that's a very good fit for him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be overly shocked if Kansas City dipped in the receiver pool. Multiple times.
100%. I think they shouldn't be leaving the draft with less than three receivers.
Yeah, I think it's for sure 2 of the first 3 picks. I know, in my honest opinion.
Yep. Jumping into 3, I think we might have the same number 3.
I think we do.
Who do you have?
I have Malik Neighbors at number 3.
I do have Malik Neighbors as well. I think he's very quick. I think he can play inside outside. I think his best fit is going to be playing inside in the slot. I think he's a very quick guy. He has very good ball skills, and he runs a really nice route. I think my NFL comp on him. I mean, kind of already said it, but the school comp, the player comp. I see a lot of Justin Jefferson in college in him. Now, will he become the same player Justin Jefferson has been in the league? Yet to be seen. Coming out of college, it looks very similar.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my comp on him is a pre-knock the fuck out Antonio Brown.
Pre-CTE.
Pre-CTE Antonio Brown.
Pre-Vontez Burfict.
Yeah, I like Malik Neighbors. I do.
Runs a clean route.
He's a good route runner. He's an elite athlete. He does play all over the play. I mean, he played 226 snaps in the slot and 195 snaps out wide this year. So he played them pretty evenly. I think he can play both at the next level. He's explosive. I expect him to run mid 4.4s. I think he's going to run well. He's great after the catch. The release kind of was a little suspect at times, getting off press there, and his body control is not the best. And I did see him take some plays off late in the year. I don't love, obviously, the motor, kind of maybe a question mark for him there. He's great contested catch guy, 46.6% contested catch rate. Only 6 foot, 200 pounds. I don't have him as Justin Jefferson just because of the body size there. But the talent there, I think you could definitely make an argument for him being 2. I think it's personal preference. What do you like more?
You want the little guy or you want the big guy?
Yeah. I think you're looking more for an inside guy or more for an outside guy. I think it depends on your offense and which way you want to go there.
Yep. So I would think our top 2 look exactly the same. I have obviously Roma Dunze is my number 2. I love the size. I mean,
6'3", 215.
I think Kansas City would be absolutely foaming at the mouth to get a guy like this, but I don't think they get there.
There's no chance.
He's didn't play very well in the Natty. I mean, Penix,
he didn't play bad in the Natty.
He didn't play bad, but I mean, kind of Penix didn't play very well either. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of, and I mean, I love his body control. He has great hands. He has great speed for the size that he is. He's probably going to run mid 4.4s. You don't think? You think he's going to run under that? You think he's going to run 4.3s? I think he's
he
probably
ran 4.34 in high school.
I think he's going to run probably 4.4.
He ran 4.34 in high school.
Is that what it was in high school?
Time score at 4.34 in high school.
Yeah, I mean he's fast.
I wouldn't be shocked if he runs sub 4.
You think he's in 4.3s? This is where he finishes. I think he probably runs a 4.4.
I mean,
I can see like a 4.42.
I have a hard time feeling that he went to college, got bigger and stronger, and got slower.
And got slower, yeah. I like him. I love the size and the speed together. Like I don't think anybody else besides Marvin Harrison Jr. has that in this draft. I think he's going to be an absolute.
I think he's faster than Marvin
monster for some people. Or for some of these teams, like I don't know where he goes. This is the hardest one where I've been trying to find a fit, just because I think he fits.
He's a top 10 pick.
He fits everywhere. Anybody in the top 10 would be happy to have this guy.
Absolutely,
and he would be a plug-in, probably best receiver on the team out of any top team.
And in my opinion, I don't think there's very many teams out there that he wouldn't be the number 1 guy from day one.
He is number 1 written all over him.
Yes,
he's out of our top 5 guys here. I think there's 3 guys that have number 1 written all over them, and I think the number 1, I think Roma Dunze, and I think Keon Coleman just have number 1 written on them. I think Malik Neighbors, if depending on where he goes, he could be kind of like a 1A, 1B with somebody else.
I think Malik Neighbors projects into slot and as a dynamic slot receiver.
But like, if you're looking for a top guy, like your CD Lamb, your A.J. Brown, your DK Metcalf, like that guy who's big and fast and can go up and get it, Roma Dunze is the epitome of that.
Roma Dunze had a crazy 71% contested catch rate.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
You throw the fucking ball up to him, he's going to get it.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. So obviously my first thing on here is elite size and speed. So he ran 4.34 in high school. He attacks the ball. He's got good body control. Not great body control, but good. He runs a very advanced route tree. Reads zone coverage very, very well. Yeah. So he understands both man and zone. He can beat both. He's got a massive catch radius. He's 6'3", 215. Not the strongest hands, but I think he obviously can grow into that, which obviously hurts his release off of press. Not the best blocker, but he will block. Yeah. He's serviceable as a blocker. For me, obviously, he had 1,500 yards receiving, 13 touchdowns. I have 3 comps on him because I couldn't decide who I wanted to go with.
I have one in mind that I would like. Kind of just reminds me. I like Devontae Adams. I like the comp with Devontae Adams. Just because Devontae Adams he's quick. He's fast for how big. Like he's a big dude, but like Devontae Adams runs a clean route, but gets enough separation. And if you have a quarterback that can just put it where you want it, like he's gonna get it every time. And if you don't put it where he wants it, he's gonna go get it. The back shoulder throws. the body control that Devontae Adams has. Devontae Adams probably has one of the best body controls of a receiver in the NFL. So
Absolutely.
I think Rome Odunze, he follows that. The hands, the speed, the size. I think Devontae Adams is probably a really close comparison. CeeDee Lamb also, I think, is a very good comparison for him, too, because CeeDee Lamb this year. I think CeeDee Lamb's come to his own this year.
Yeah, he's definitely grown.
He's one of the most talented receivers in the league now. But I really like the Devontae Adams comp.
I do too, and I'll start. My floor on him is Mike Evans. I think if
that is a hell of a floor.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance he's worse than Mike Evans as a floor.
What's the record? Didn't Mike Evans set a record this year with consecutive? How many consecutive 1,000-yard seasons or something? Or yeah,
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, he set some. I don't think it was a record, but he did something that. I think it was like 8 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons or something like that, or since he came into the league.
It's possible. I mean, he's been just a consistent guy.
Yeah,
throughout
consistent.
His career. So my floor on him is Mike Evans. Realistically, I think he's Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams. Those are the 3 comps that I had on him. I see a lot.
I see a lot of Jamar Chase body size wise.
Yeah.
Body size, he's like almost identical to Jamar Chase.
Yeah, he's
faster
he's
Jamar Chase.
6'3", 215.
Yeah.
Like I said,
he's a faster Jamar Chase.
He is an absolute freak, and I think he's an absolute dog in the league. Yeah. And I think it's a top 10 pick, and you're ecstatic if you get him. I think there's a chance Neighbors goes ahead of him in the draft. Justin Jefferson didn't go one in that draft either. So
Justin Jefferson went after. Justin Jefferson was the 5th, right?
Yes.
Fourth
receiver.
5th.
Fourth,
right? It was because he was in 2020.
That was
right?
when
Jefferson was in 2020.
And then Jalen Reagor went ahead of him.
So what was that? Ruggs, Judy, CeeDee Lamb, Reagor.
Yeah, and
Jefferson.
Yep.
Yep, gotta love that.
Yeah.
I think only one is really in comparison to him is just CeeDee Lamb. I mean, Jerry Judy hasn't done shit.
Yeah, Ruggs is hard to say.
Ruggs
could have been. Ruggs was a physical freak. I don't think he was the best receiver.
Judy needs a better fit.
I think Judy goes someplace next year and potentially breaks out, but we'll see what happens.
I think it's the fit. I think I could see Jerry Judy going to Kansas City next year.
That would be a great
fit for him. Great fit.
Yeah, bring in Jerry Judy and
I think that's where he goes.
Draft a receiver,
and he's going to want to play Denver twice a year. That's where I think that's where Jerry Judy ends up.
You'd be set there. Then there's no shocker.
Shocker of the day. We all thought Marvin Harrison Jr. was going to fall out of our top 5.
I got Roman Wilson as my number 1 receiver.
Yeah, Roman Wilson.
I do love Roman Wilson, no doubt there. But it's Marvin Harrison. He is him. He's got elite size. He's 6'4", 205. Has the bloodlines. A 43.3 contested catch rating this year. Over 1,200 yards. 14 touchdowns. Played with a shitty quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's his boy, though.
It is his boy.
Yeah.
He's played with him in high school and shit. Yeah. But I don't think.
Do you want to take a wild guess who my comparison is to him?
I mean, I know who mine is. Who's yours?
His father.
I can see
his father. He is literally a spitting image of his father. He's a little bit bigger, but the hands, the separation, the body control. He has the best body. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best player in this draft. In my opinion,
as far as
1,000%.
Yeah, he's
the number
taking
one quarterback out of it.
Just pure talent.
Pure talent. Yeah. He's the number 1 player in the draft. I mean, his body control is absolutely insane. I've seen him make some crazy catches because Kyle McCord can't hit him right in the chest. And he played with C.J. Stroud last year and did so well with Stroud. Like, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to change a franchise.
Yeah, as much as a receiver can, in my opinion. As long as he has a decent quarterback, I think he's going to have a Hall of Fame career.
That's a big if. I mean, when you're picking so low, when you're picking 1 through 5, because that's where he's going to end up, you're probably not going to end up with a great quarterback. I mean, I think the best case scenario for him as far as quarterback goes is if Chicago gets him, and he ends up with Justin Fields. Yeah, I think that's the best. I mean, if he falls to Arizona, he gets Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I think that's where I don't think he gets past.
He doesn't get past Arizona. No.
I don't think there's a chance in hell he gets past the Cardinals.
And I don't think Kyler Murray's a bad. I mean, Kyler Murray throws a nice ball. I mean, Kyler Murray throws a lot of go up and get him kind of balls, and Marvin Harrison will go up and get him for you. He's a red zone threat.
He is.
He's going to change. He's going to change Arizona's offense if he goes there.
Yeah, I would agree. And what I have on him here is obviously elite size. He's a true outside guy. He's not going to play in a slot. No. He is your
number one outside guy.
Yeah, he's your guy. Elite body control. He's got great hands. His footwork is the best footwork I've ever seen out of a college receiver. He's absolutely explosive, and obviously, I mean, his dad was a phenomenal route runner, and he's probably as good.
Yeah.
At this point.
I think this is bold, but Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, might be a top 5 receiver in his first 2 years.
He could break Puka's record.
Yeah. I think Marvin Harrison goes in, and he's a top receiver in the league.
I agree.
From day one.
And he's elite speed, too. I expect him to run in the 4.3s.
Yeah.
If he doesn't run 4.3, he's going to run 4.31 or 4.41.
He is very good.
Yeah, he's absolutely great. He had 67% contested catch radius there. Not the best against press. The press did eat him up a little. He's not the strongest receiver. He's got the pro build, but he does got to put a little bit of muscle on.
Yeah, and he'll get there.
Yeah, I have no problems with that.
That's why I think in 2-3 years we're going to be looking back. He's going to be one of the best receivers in the league.
Yeah, my floor on Marvin Harrison's AJ Green.
And AJ Green is
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, great receiver.
Yeah, I
he didn't have the longevity. Like later in his career, he started to get a little but. I mean,
that's every receiver.
The size and speed when he was in his prime was unmatched.
Yeah, him and TJ were great.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I have as a comp for him as the elite level because I don't think there's a receiver that we've ever seen of his caliber.
No.
I think he has realistic Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame potential, and I think he has a real case to walk into that household on Thanksgiving and tell his poppy that
he's the better receiver in the league.
Yeah.
You're a better receiver.
He was the better receiver once it's all said and done.
I think if you're looking at NFL like just comparisons of draft picks and where he is and where he's going to go, this is the best receiver to come out since Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, and I think he's
100% in my opinion. I think he is better than Calvin Johnson.
I
think Marvin Harrison Jr. will be the best receiver in the league in the next 3 years.
He's definitely
now. It all depends too who's throwing him the ball.
But I think he could really turn Justin Fields' career.
Justin Fields.
Not that he's had a bad career, but you would definitely be thinking this guy's going to make Justin Fields an absolute monster.
He's going to make Justin Fields way better.
Yeah, if he goes to Arizona, I don't want to go. I don't want to see him in Arizona. I don't feel like.
As long as he doesn't end up in Kansas City.
Yeah, if he ends up in Kansas City,
that won't happen. It's over. It won't happen,
But yeah, that's it. I mean, this is one of the fastest, deepest receiver core. Just to give a quick shout out to some of the guys that I also really like that are just outside of my top 10. Obviously, Lad McConkey I have there. Brendan Rice, obviously he's got the bloodlines as well. Obviously not as good as his dad, but very good receiver there. I love Roman Wilson. I think he is probably he could be a day 2 pick. I really do. He's got really strong hands, runs really nice routes. 50% contested catch radius on him. A guy I could see. There's two guys potentially as late round steals, kind of sleepers for me, and it's Torrey Horton, the kid from Colorado State. Nothing but production out of that kid. Over almost 1,200 yards receiving this year. And another guy here too. He's a senior. He got hurt this year. He only played 3 snaps this year, but had looked really well last year. Is Dorian Clark. I think he could be a sneaky late round pick. I don't know if he gets drafted. We'll see what he does at the combine. He could be a nice steal for a UDFA and make the league. But I think it's one of the deepest receiver cores we've ever had.
I like Jalen McMillan out of Washington too.
I like Jalen McMillan.
I think he'll be good. He played very well in the Natty. And then just shout out. I mean, if you're looking for somebody with size, Johnny Wilson from Florida State. 6'7". I mean, he's a big dude. Like, where does he fit?
Does he play receiver?
Is he a tight end?
I don't know. I had a hard time calling him.
Big dude, 6'7", 237.
Tough.
Not a whole lot of receivers 6'7".
No. Definitely not elite ones either. But that'll do it. We'll wrap that up here. That's our top 10, top 5 kind of list on receivers. We'll go back at it next week. You want to do edge next week?
We're going to do edge next week.
We'll do edge rushers next week. I think we'll have some good debate on that.
Yep.
Probably get a mock draft out here in the next couple weeks. Maybe next week. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, let's do at least do a top 10 mock draft to start until we know where these playoff seedings are going to finish.
Yeah, we at least do the maybe top
15.
Top 15. Yeah,
the
top 16.
The non-playoff teams.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll discuss that.
Well, next week we'll have the teams that fall out, so we'll be able to do top 20 probably.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. We'll
Yep.
wrap that up here. Thanks for watching, guys. Make
Thanks
sure
for
you
joining us.
like and subscribe, and share the page. That helps us out a lot. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
See ya.